There's no other better feeling in the world, I think, than can feel the love of a real family. I feel like the whole world has forgot what real family means. They got so busy that they don't have time for family or friends or really the most important things and that mean something in life. My time is limited here on earth. I want to be around family and people I love.
I'm going to keep this video pretty short and to the point. The main topic of this video is JJ the Boss from Memphis, Jonathan Day, and I want to keep the video talking about him. I have been pushing my shirts pretty hard, so I'm not even going to mention that it is the first link in the description. If you want one, go get one. I want to talk about JJ and the Memphis Bunch because tonight kicks off Memphis Street Outlaws, JJ the Boss, and last Monday night there was an episode and it was about JJ and his whole life, and love him or hate him. I don't think there's really an in-between. You either love the man or you hate the man, but you can't help to respect his hustle, his grind, and his his ability to bounce back. And I want to talk about a few of the highlights right now. JJ the Boss, or Jonathan Day, born at St. Joseph's Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee, grew up in Joyner, Arkansas, and was the first one in his family to graduate high school in 1992. Grew up very poor, a family of roofers who always, dreamed and wanted more, but lived the hard life. Lived in little shotgun houses and never had much. He had always loved cars and always loved racing, and it come from his uncle, according to him. His dad wasn't around very much, and when he was, apparently he was a heavy gambler, and JJ contributes his ability and, the gambling side of his street racing from his dad. His uncle had a Torino that he used to race, and his uncle was a big influence in his life as a young man, and that is where he, gained the love of cars, and that is where it all started for JJ. And according to him, his uncle told him, you got to go get one of them 66, 67 Chevy 2s. They're light, the front end has a lot of travel, and they hook on the street. And that's something that stuck in the back of his head his whole life. Well, he ended up trading a running car for one. And you got to remember, when you're poor and don't have a lot, you trade a running car for a car that doesn't have a motor or transmission. You get rid of your whole means of transportation. But JJ knew that he could turn that around and make it into something. Well, he did. He ended up turning it into a pretty wicked hot rod, apparently. And his dad had got in trouble gambling and owed a man some money. The guy kept coming around asking for money, and it embarrassed his mother. JJ traded his car to pay his daddy's debt. And, love him or hate him again, you got to respect somebody like that. In a hard knock life type of way, you have to respect that man. And, growing up the way that he grew up, a lot of people can't relate. JJ moved away to a little bit bigger city and realized how he could make money. He always said that he wanted to give his mama everything that she ever wanted. And according to him, all she told him she wanted was for him to graduate high school and give her his diploma, and they would be even. And although he did do that, he felt like he wanted his mother to have more, and that is where his, desire to grind and hustle came from. He started selling, slanging, and one thing led to another, and he ended up being a kingpin for the most part. At one point, he said that he had $1 million, and I don't know if he means $1 million or $1 million worth of assets or $1 million worth of product, or what he meant by that. But he said that he had enough money, he bought a plane, and not knowing how to fly, him and Jeffrey James took it up in the air, flew it, and didn't have a clue how to land it. Come back down, crashed a plane. According to JJ, had all the money that he ever needed. Bought his family, I'm talking his mama, his cousins, his granddaddy, his uncle, everybody cars, houses, and all that, and was living life large, like something that you would see a movie, made about. And to be honest with you, a movie about JJ would probably be a pretty good movie. His story about how he grew up, his whole life and all that, is a better story than the original Street Outlaws cast, even the main people on the show. But that's not what this video is about. JJ ended up getting set up. Apparently he was going to meet a buddy of his to loan him $230,000 is what JJ says. Think about that, $230,000. That is $250,000. Pulled into the back of a motel, and he pulled up. He could feel something wasn't right, backed out, and when he made the curve, they swarmed in, got him, and took him to jail. And he didn't say anything about having any product or anything illegal other than a large sum of money on him, but I don't feel like just having that much money would get you 8 years. But he did say that the FBI was onto him, so I don't know what else they had that they put with it or what he was actually charged for. He did say that he thought he could beat it. He would be in there 6 months to a year, and he had enough money to get out of it. They seized everything that he had, everything in his name, and anything that was, with him in his name that his mama owned, that he had bought and paid cash for, was seized. Either way, ever how wrong you want to say it is 100% wrong. But in a weird, twisted way, you got to have respect for someone that can do that. I'm not saying the drug side. I'm just talking about the way to make money, the way to hustle, the way to find it. Drugs destroy lives, drugs destroy families. Everybody that is watching this video, drugs has affected them, whether it be personally or a family member or a close friend. Drugs has affected them in a negative way at some point in their life. It is just facts that has happened. And, I'm not saying that the drugs was, good or anything by any means. I'm just talking about the hustle, the straight hustle, the want for money, wanting a better life is something you have to respect. And ended up doing 8 years in Coleman Prison in Florida, and he called his mama one day, and he had got released, told her to come get him, and he come back and was determined to not put his family and especially his children through that again. He had to figure out a way to make an honest living and support his slew of kids that he has. JJ, Tricia, and Precious ended up going all the way around the United States to find themselves back close to his hometown and started working on cars. And, he said for years he, worked in one part of the shop and lived in the other part just so he could support his, his life, his family, his kids, and wasn't making money like what he was used to, but he was a free man. And, like he said, you can't take the wild out of someone. He would sit around and get the itch to do something, wild, the adrenaline rush and all that. Tricia asked him what was wrong, and when he told her, she said, "Is there anything that we can do?" And he said, "You know what? I have always loved to street race." And that's basically how Memphis Street Outlaws JJ the Boss was started. He went out and found him another Chevy too, and him and Doughboy ended up building Zip Tie. Zip Tie is not the zip tie you see today, but he built that race car. And kind of a side note, Old Heavy, I remember a couple of years ago when it got introduced, kind of when JJ started getting a little bit bigger, it was yellow and purple and stuff, and he showed it to Precious one night like he had just bought it. But according to him and according to the show last Monday, his grandfather and them owned that truck, when it was, just a stock, basically stock running truck, and I did not realize the evolution of Old Heavy started with JJ. He built the truck, or, I don't know if he sold it and someone built it and he bought it back, or what the story with the truck is, but, I know he bought it and it was yellow. But I know when it got introduced to the world, that we know it as. It was yellow, and then shortly after they painted it black, and that's, you know, the truck you see now. The truck's been hit, the truck's been rolled, the truck's been, you know, it's scrubbed off some speed here and there, but it's still the same truck that his granddaddy had, and I think that's awesome. Love him or hate him, I left out a lot of things about JJ, but I feel like I've said the key points and the main thing that you need to know about why JJ is who JJ is. And, you know, I feel like JJ has something. He is sitting on a gold mine. If done right, that show can be just as big, and it can run 11 seasons like the OKC has. He cannot make the mistakes that they did. I don't see how they are going to have, you know, like 10, 12 episode seasons like OKC does, because they don't list race. And it's going to be hard to find, you know, 10 or 12 times people to come out to make a season that long each week. But who knows? The world is, you know, coming around to JJ. I know several people personally that did not like him to begin with, and a lot of it was the way he talked. And, you know, you got to look over that and see who it is, why it is, and what's going on. You know, the caliber of cars is completely different. You know, you're looking at mostly nitrous cars, and, you know, nitrous is fast. I'm not saying it's not, but the consistency and the being able to race every week with nitrous isn't there. You know, it's an everyday grind. It's some hard-headed people that run nitrous, that big of shots of nitrous, pass after pass. You know, you're sliding pistons in between rounds, and it's a hard way to have to race on the schedule that they are made to race to film these shows. And I hope we do see JJ around for a while. I like the guy. I feel like he is about the race. He is about the hustle. You know, the arm drop is either a love or hate it type of thing. It is old school, but it does play in favor of whoever leaves first. The chase is a race. You know when you pull up there if you're going to leave or not. And the one that leaves first, I have said this many, many times. If you're sitting over there on the button and it on the, you know, rev limiter, you see somebody move, just instinct makes you let go of that button. And when you do, you got to run them down or you lose one. So, you know, that little hustle has kind of been in there, and it was there through the whole first season. When JJ won the, you know, JJ's arm drop, shootout, wars, or whatever on his show, you know, Birdman and all them was there. You know, if the chase as a race was not in there, then a lot of them races would have been different. But that's not really what I'm here to talk about. I'm just here to say that I hope you have a great second season, and I hope that there's many more to come. Do what you do, and you will go far. I really liked season 1, and I feel like season 2 will be no different. Don't make mistakes that you've seen other shows make in the past, and you'll be fine. That is my message to anyone that is involved with the show, and I know that they're probably not watching this, but chances are they will see it. So there we go. There it is. JJ the Boss, Jonathan Day in a nutshell. But thanks for sticking with me as long as you have. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something about JJ, and I hope that you watch and help this man get further than, you know, Nola and them guys did. And let's keep them going. You know, I can't predict what's going to happen. I will have another video out in a day or two about the episode tonight, and maybe even go live tonight after the episode. Not a whole lot of editing because I'm filming this on Sunday, and I'm going to try to get it uploaded and out to you before the episode starts on Monday. So if there's not a lot of editing, that's why. Thanks for watching. Godspeed. See you in the next one.